This video will be about Donald Trump and his connection to the Isle of Lewis in Scotland, which is where his mother, Mary MacLeod, was born in 1912. Some of this was covered by Casey on Enter the Stars YouTube channel, so I linked his video in the description box. But I want to cover the connections to the royals and the opium trade, so I will do that in this video. The Isle of Lewis is home to the Callanish stones, and this is them. According to tradition, the Callanish stones were literally petrified giants who would not convert to Christianity. Another lesson is that early on midsummer mornings, an entity known as the Shining One walks the length of the avenue. Shining Ones are fairies whose post-Diluvian royal bloodline began with the royal Scythian Anunnaki, the original Ring Lords. In 1743, William Stukeley described the stone circle as a druidic circle, and the avenue like a serpent. Let's look at the history of the Isle of Lewis. Isle of Lewis came under the Scottish rule in 1266. The lordship of the Isles emerged as the most important power in northwestern Scotland by the 14th century. Control of the Isle of Lewis was initially exercised by the MacLeod clan, but then forfeited to the Scottish crown in 1597. Trump is part of the MacLeod clan on his mother's side, Mary MacLeod. She was born on this island, the Isle of Lewis, and lived very close to the Callanish stones. And Trump can also trace his ancestry to Scottish royalty. Mary Queen of Scots, King James IV of Scotland, who became King James I of England. And this just shows all of that lineage. He's also related to the Stuarts on the British side. And back to Trump in a minute. So in 1844, the Isle of Lewis was bought by British knight Sir James Matheson, co-founder of Jardine Matheson. And Sir James Matheson was Fellowship of the Royal Society. And the Jardine Matheson Company was a Far Eastern company founded in 1832, trafficking opium in Asia, while trading also cotton, tea, silk, and a variety of other goods. In 1844, the firm established its head office in the new British colony of Hong Kong and then proceeded to expand all along the China coast. Sir James Matheson built a castle there named Lewes Castle in 1844. So this castle and the entire island was bought on opium money. Lewes Castle on the Isle of Lewis was built by Sir James Matheson, who bought the entire island with his fortune from the opium trade. Then in May of 1918, the Isle of Lewis was purchased by British soap magnate and industrialist Lord Leverhulme, Viscount Leverhulme, who was Royal Geographical Society and Royal Institute of British Architects. So in 1918, Marianne MacLeod, Trump's mother, would have been 4 years old. Then the castle, it says, was used for an accommodation for the air and ground crew of the 700 Naval Air Squadron for World War II, which would have begun about 10 years after he bought it in 1939. And the name of the soap magnate company, started by Viscount Lever, is Lever Brothers, and Lever Brothers was a British manufacturing company who promoted a new soap-making process invented by a chemist. And then the company Unilever was formed from a merger with this British company, Lever Brothers. The Unilever CEO, Alan Jope, was a judge on Trump's show, The Apprentice. And Unilever is mentioned in Trump's tax returns, which is indicative of some financial interest. And soap was also mentioned as the greatest invention ever in the movie Donnie Darko, which was a foreshadowing of the Trump presidency, definitely. So to summarize, Trump's mother and Trump are part of the MacLeod clan, who once owned the entire Isle of Lewis in Scotland. And this island is home to the Druidic Callanish stone circle. So let's look at his lineage again. It's not just the MacLeods he rolls up to. There's a lot of other blue blood in there, as you can see. Then that same island was purchased by British royal James Matheson, who then sold it to another British royal, Lord Leverhulme, who started an industrial soap company, which also makes many other products. It was used in World War II by the Naval Air Squadron, and then that same soap company merged with another to form Unilever, which is a British multinational corporation headquartered in London. That Trump has ties to, through the CEO and apparently financial interests. But regardless of all of that, the media reports that Trump's mother, Marianne MacLeod, was just a poor Scottish immigrant who came to the U.S. and worked for the Carnegies and then met Fred Trump. Some of the propaganda also says that she could see the castle from where she lived on the island and would be jealous and wanted that to be her life. But how is it possible that she was poor if her family once owned the entire island and she's part of this lineage? That's not true. And how is it that Trump, her son, just happens to become president and has ties to the royal Brits who own the island via the opium trade and their businesses? Could it be that's because he's related to the Shining Ones? Thanks for listening.